American Public Television presents the following program in high definition.
And I want to welcome you to my kitchen. Today we're going to make citrus marinated hand-seared pork chops. We're going to serve them with a beautiful fragrant arroz con maíz, rice with corn. I'm going to finish with pink beans with potatoes and ham.
Daisy Cooks is brought to you by
As Daisy says, eat great, feel great, look great. Marshall's, brand names for less.
Diageo. As Daisy says, eat great, feel great, look great. And if you drink, drink responsibly. Diageo, celebrating life every day responsibly.
All-Clad Metal Crafters. All-Clad is bonded construction. All-Clad is innovative design. All-Clad is professional equipment. All-Clad is a state of mind. Brillo with Oxy Action. For tough messes, Oxy micro bubbles lift and dissolve grease and grime. Brillo, cleaning solutions for your home for over 90 years.
Hola. Ooh, we are eating good today. I'm making chuletas, pork chops. Look at these pork chops. How beautiful are these pork chops? And I'm going to make them for you the way my grandma taught me how to make them. Abuela's pork chops. We're going to start off by putting them in this little vessel here. Oh. I think I just had a palpitation. And I'm going to talk a little bit about adobo for a second. I like to keep a jar of adobo that I make in my pantry, but it's so easy to find in practically any remote supermarket. I've been all over the place, and I always take a peek to see if I find it. And 9 times out of 10, I will find adobo. So adobo is this spice mix that's made up of salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. And I know you must be thinking, onion powder? Garlic powder? Well, I'll tell you what. I wouldn't put that on my pizza, but it definitely belongs in my adobo. I hope that you'll give me an opportunity to make a believer of you. And then you can customize your adobo. You can put cumin in it, you can put lemon rind in it or lime rind, you can put orange rind in it. I mean, there's really nothing that you can't do to it. Then I'm going to show you something special. This is a naranja agria, a sour orange. It's citrus, but it's not an orange at all. This is not something that you would eat the way that you would eat one of these. You know, a nice, sweet, juicy navel orange. And I just want to cut into this naranja and show you how different it is from an orange. There are a lot of seeds in naranja agria, and you can see the color is that between a lemon, it tinges on green. Don't eat this as you would a fruit because you're going to end up with, you know, with that. It's really, really sour. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little marinade, a little sweet from the orange. And these are really fairly simple to make, but they're just so good. And then the naranja, you may have a little trouble, so you just get yourself this little reamer thingy. Can you see the amount of seeds that come out of one of these? It's really amazing, and that's not going to bother me. We're just going to leave it, and I'll just shake them off the pork chops when they're ready to be made. I'm going to do a couple more because I like the tartness of it. I'm going to roll them around a little bit, and they're so fragrant. Ooh. You get like a lemon lime thing from it, not orange at all. Isn't that pretty amazing? There's more seeds than juice in there. But what there is delicious. You could usually find these in Latin markets. If you don't have access to them, then I would use a regular juice orange and add some lemon to bring the tartness out. And again, you know, you're looking at all these seeds and saying, oh, what is she doing? It doesn't bother me that they're in there because that's just a marinade that we're going to use. And I could just shake them off the pork chops. I'm going to turn these over. You know, it's funny, you can notice that even though I poured the juice of the oranges on the meat after I sprinkled them with adobo, you can still see the adobo clinging to the pork chop. Not a problem at all. Then I'm gonna smack a couple of cloves of garlic to give it a little bit of nose. What's going to end up happening is that now there is a large salt content in the juice from the adobo that was sprinkled in the pan, and through osmosis, that salt and the brine of the sour orange, all of that is going to permeate the meat and with juicy, delicious, flavorful pork chops. And then I'm going to tuck these away in the refrigerator for a little bit. Let those pork chops really have a chance to get the full benefit of the flavor. Okay, so now we're going to make arroz con maíz, rice with corn. Rice with corn, trust me on this one. This one is delicious. My daughter Angela has a little friend, Amanda, who is a little picky when it comes to eating. She came over to the house and I had made arroz con maíz, and I said, I never push her to eat anything she doesn't like, but you know, I'll suggest she try new things. And I said, so Amanda, would you like some arroz con maíz? And she was like, I don't know. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll just put a spoonful on your plate and you can try it. If you like it, you can go ahead and ask for more. Well, not only did she eat the spoonful on her plate, she had herself a nice, healthy serving. I've never met a child or an adult who doesn't love arroz con maíz. Let's start. I have some corn. You can use canned corn in a pinch. We're talking about good food, fast today. You know, don't limit yourself. If you don't have corn left over from yesterday, or you don't have a spare ear of corn in your fridge, I know you have a can of corn in your pantry. This would be a great time to pull it out. Okay, nice and easy does it. Just, you know, run the knife down along the cob. Just break up the little clumps of corn there. Now we're going to make achote oil. I use achote in place of saffron, and I have to tell you, I prefer the flavor of achote to saffron. It smells like sunshine. It smells warm. I can't explain it any other way. I'm going to put about 1.5 tablespoons of seeds in my pan, and then I'm going to go ahead with some olive oil. I'm adding a little bit more than 1/4 cup of olive oil. It's my oil of preference, except when deep frying or doing high temperature frying. Olive oil does not lend itself kindly to extreme heats. It's got a low smoke point. Be careful when you make achote oil that you don't overheat the oil. We want to bring the heat up like medium high like that until you start to see a twinkle in your saucepan. Once you see that twinkle, the bubble is not far behind. At that point, you'll want to lower your heat because you want the oil to be able to come to full color and flavor without overheating. If it does overheat, you're going to end up with black seeds, green oil, and the only place to go with that is the trash. I view achote oil as a condiment, not just as a colorant, but as a flavor. And I just think that extra virgin olive just lends itself so nicely to that. Okay, bubble, twinkle happening. Let's lower the heat. I get excited about a lot of things when it comes to Latin food. One of the things, I mean, aside from the smell, look at these colors. That is beautiful. You see that beautiful red? This is done. I'm going to move my rice pot over here. Strain that right into the pan. Let's take this over to the sink so that it's out of my way. And I have medium-high heat because to this achote oil, I'm going to add sofrito, my other favorite thing in the whole world. Sofrito is an aromatic puree of onions, garlic, tomatoes, sweet red bell peppers, green peppers, ajicitos dulces if you can find them, cilantro, and culantro. Or if you can't find culantro, you could use more cilantro. I love the initial smell that sofrito makes when it first hits the achote oil. It's like, okay, we're cooking. There's stuff happening over here. And I want to get a nice sizzle going. Then we're going to add alcaparrado. It's a fancy word for olive salad. For whatever reason, if you can't find alcaparrado in your grocery aisle, I know you have some little manzanilla olives, little martini olives, pitted, and some capers. We have red pimentos, a quick little mix, and in she goes. My mom always puts a little brine in there, so don't worry about draining it, or it's fine. Woo! Some cumin, another layer to our flavors. I'm thinking about a teaspoon. I'm throwing in a couple of bay leaves. If you're lucky enough to have fresh bay leaf, go ahead and treat yourself. It really is nice. I mean, they're beautiful and bright green. And let's add our rice. And now we're going to stir this. Look at the color of that rice. Tell me you've ever seen anything so gorgeous, ever. All right, well, not your children. I'm sure I'd agree, but this is beautiful food. And I'm going to spread it on the bottom of the pan and just let it heat for a second. I want the heat to fix the color to the rice because in a second, I'm going to add broth to this and I don't want to lose the color. Salt. People always gasp when I salt my food. And then they tear up when they taste it, so, because it's that good. Again, we're still doing this on high heat. Whew, the cumin just bloomed into my nose. That's amazing. See the chalkiness on the kernels of rice? It looks chalky. That's a good thing. Okay, this is ready. We're ready for corn. This smells so good. One of the problems I have when I cook for you is that I'm being assaulted by all these delicious smells and my mouth waters. I mean, it's natural. And then I find myself having a problem describing to you what it is that I'm doing. And now I'm going to add the broth. Feel free to make your stock. In a pinch, are you in a hurry? Do you have a can of broth in your pantry? Pull it out. Nobody's going to kill you. And I'll tell you the important thing is that with the addition of the achote oil and the sofrito, it's really going to pull it together. It's going to taste absolutely delicious. If I teach you nothing else other than 3 things, sofrito, achote oil, and rice, I can live a happy woman. Because if those are the only 3 things that you take away from our visits, I'm way ahead of the game. And you're going to be a lot happier for it. Okay, so let's just make sure that this is not sticking, which it's not. And we're going to bring the broth up to the boil. Again, the secret to perfect rice. 2 fingers of fluid above the level of the rice. We're still maintaining that nice high heat. We're going to bring it down. So I just have to wait for that liquid to say howdy doody to the rice. Okay, you see the rice, the fluid has met the level. As you saw me stir it once, right? This is the 2nd time that I am going to turn the rice. Cover the rice, lower the heat, set your clock for 20 minutes, go call your mom, go do the crossword, walk your dog, you've got 20 minutes. Then you'll come back, you'll have perfect rice. The love of the kitchen, for me, came from the time I was a little girl. And I can remember maybe being 3 or 4 years old. We lived in a 2-family house with my abuela, my dad's mom. And abuela had this huge, long table in her dining room. And on Sunday mornings, that table was always packed, always packed. In those days, you visited your family. I mean, at least our community did, the Latino community did. And on Sunday mornings, we come into abuela's house, and there was this huge table with a beautiful white tablecloth, and there was fried eggs vestido de torero, dressed like a bullfighter. There was fried chorizo. There was plátanos maduros. There was orange juice and café con leche. I mean, and I can remember as a little girl, it made such an impression on me. This woman nurturing and loving her family. I kind of get choked up thinking about it, but it was one of the things that most inspired me to be close to food, a connection to food and the people that I love. And that's what I think makes me want to share it. Okay, so I have my arroz con maíz on the back burner. I have my pork chops marinating in the refrigerator. Now I'm going to give you an absolutely delicious, quick, oh my God, my mother-in-law is going to be here in 30 minutes recipe for pink beans with ham. It's going to be so quick that I'm pulling the cans out of my pantry. So let's get started. A little bit of olive oil, gentle heat for olive oil. It's really important. Then I have some recaito, which I had in my freezer. And recaito is that little puree with onion, garlic, culantro, cilantro, and ajicitos dulces. No tomato or red bell peppers for this. That's a happy cooking sound, right? Ham. We have ham steak in the fridge. It's a good time to pull it out. By the way, that ham was cooked. We want to keep this nice and sizzly. So I really want the ham to flavor the beans. While that is coming up to temperature, I'm going to peel a potato. My friend Lonnie's favorite thing in the whole world is the beans that I make with potato. She just says that beans and potatoes go in her book like Christmas and curry your eyes, I guess. You know, it's just, they go hand in hand. Or peas and carrots, how's that? And just one potato. It's not going to be laying around. I don't have to soak it in salt water. Get it nice and clean. And I'm just going to give this a quick rinse. Sometimes when you peel a potato, you know, you get the dust from the skin on it. And I'm just going to coarsely chop the potato about the same size as the ham pieces. Throw that right in there. That recadito has cooked out enough. I'm going to add some alcaparrado, which you saw me add to the rice. And so you know what it is. It's a little olive salad with capers and pimentos. A little bit of brine. My mother always does that. Says it adds a little sharpness. And I'm going to dust it with about a teaspoon of cumin. And salt. Fresh ground pepper. That smells good. Okay, and I'm going to add a little tomato sauce. Now I'm going to add about a third of a can. My mother doesn't like to add a lot of tomato sauce. She says it makes the beans sour. Agria, she says. But okay. And some chicken broth. And you heard me mention before, it's something that I like to keep in the refrigerator, but I am certainly not a chicken broth snob. I am not above pulling out a can of chicken broth out of my pantry. While that's coming up to heat, I'm going to step over here. We have our pink beans, and I am going to drain them because I don't like the fluid that the beans are sitting in the can. I'm going to rinse the beans. I'm using canned beans to get it across to you that you can make canned bean dish and not sacrifice any flavor. In this particular recipe, we have potatoes and we have ham, aside from the delicious recadito. So all of that is really going to work in tandem to really make these beans taste good. I just don't like to keep that liquid, that thick, viscous stuff that it sits in. Okay, we got a very happy bubble here going. Let's add the beans. Let's lower the heat on these cuties and stir in the beans. I am actually going to add a little more broth because don't forget cooking those potatoes and they need liquid to cook in. That's going to make a really nice, almost like a gravy, like a sauce for the beans. Check. This is starting to look like people. Okay, we're going to cover these and cook them for about 20 minutes. The rice and the beans should be ready. And in the meantime, let's look to those pork chops. So I'm just going to barely kiss the bottom of the pan with some canola oil because we want some serious heat to begin with so that we can give these babies some color. And I'm just going to make sure that none of those seeds from the naranja are stuck. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous chuletas. Beautiful. So we have medium-high heat on these chops, and the way that Abuela would do them would be to sear them on both sides so that there was color, and then she would cover it and lower the heat. And what she would end up with would be these absolutely delicious, moist, juicy, flavorful chuletas that have been marinating in the dry adobo and everything. It's just a thing of joy and beauty forever. I always smile when I make chuletas because I think back to when I was a little girl. Big lips is very Martinez. And when I was a little girl, my father would come home and say to me, ¿De quién son esas chuletas? Chuletas are pork chops, but they're also, it's like an affectionate term, like a little slang for lips, for big lips. Oh, and these are just looking absolutely beautiful. So I would look at them and I'd say, they're papi's chuletas. So these are my papi's chuletas, and these are my abuelatas, and chuletas are on the menu for today. In the meantime, we can check our beans, and you know, I like to skim the stuff that floats to the top. Whenever we're simmering something, I like to skim that off, whether I'm making broth or soup or beans or anything like that. Oh my Lord, those beans smell so good. My mother makes the most incredible beans. They would be so good sometimes that I would just want to sit down with a bowl of beans. I didn't need anything else. I didn't need meat. I didn't need rice. I didn't need anything. I just have like a little bowl of beans, and that would be fabulous. Look how pretty the sauce that's coming together. The broth that the beans are floating in. And it's like, it's silky. It's kind of thickened up a little bit between the potato and the beans. Woo! Okay, let's take a look at these pork chops. Yep, beautiful. And you see this? This is not burned. This is actually caramelized from the juice of the orange. Gorgeous. Okay, let's give that a couple of minutes to bring it up to color as well. Absolutely beautiful color on both sides. Yep. Okay, I'm going to lower the heat, and I'm going to cover them, and we'll let them finish cooking like that. This way they'll be nice and juicy on the inside and beautiful brown and caramelized on the outside. I have arroz con maíz. I have pink beans with ham. Pate. Okay, it's been about 7 or 8 minutes. Wow, just like abuela used to make. And they're nice and firm. That's it. They're done. I'm going to eat. Look at what these beans look like. Nothing should be this good. Look at this. What did I tell you? Is this beautiful? I am in so much trouble. I'm going to eat myself into a coma today. The pork chops are completely done on the inside, but they're juicy. Oh my goodness. You guys hear me say this every time I cook a meal, but honest to goodness, this is amazing, delicious, gratifying food. It's like a hug from home. It warms your heart. It tastes fabulous, and it really took just a minimal effort, and the rewards are a lot better than picking up the phone and calling for takeout. Please promise me you're going to try this. This is the stuff that makes your tummy happy. Buen provecho.
Daisy Cooking Flavors that will rock your world contains over 200 of her detailed recipes. With each order, you also get a Daisy Cooks DVD at no additional cost. It includes the never broadcast Daisy Pilot and 3 favorite shows. To order, call 800-336-1917. The price is $29.95. You can also order the Daisy Cooks book with free DVD at her website, daisycooks.com.
Hola, it's Daisy. Hey, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at daisycooks.com. Tell me what you think. Sign up for my newsletter and get recipes and tips in English and Spanish. It's all at daisycooks.com.
Daisy Cooks is brought to you by
As Daisy says, eat great, feel great, look great. Marshall's. Brand names for less.
Diageo. As Daisy says, eat great, feel great, look great. And if you drink, drink responsibly. Diageo, celebrating life every day responsibly.
All-Clad Metal Crafters. All-Clad is bonded construction. All-Clad is innovative design. All-Clad is professional equipment. All-Clad is a state of mind.
Brillo with Oxy Action. For tough messes, Oxy micro bubbles lift and dissolve grease and grime. Brillo, cleaning solutions for your home for over 90 years.